feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop, cause you know I gotta win every day. She really wanna pop me. Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow it.
Alright, so today we're taking a look at the FAL. I'm not gonna do any more stupid intros, and I will try to maybe do this unscripted as well, just so I can show off that, you know, I have some kind of skill when it comes to the improvement of looking at guns. The FAL is a rather interesting rifle. It is a semi-automatic 7.62 firing assault rifle, and it is a favorite among players who like to play at a close range and fast-paced. This gun was one of my favorites back when I used to play a lot of close-range multiplayer, back when the game modes of Royal Rumble or Team Deathmatch were available. And this gun did support me a lot as I did certain missions to unlock a lot of weapons. For this gun, we're actually just gonna be looking at 3 versions of it. So a starter level once again, a medium level, and a maximum level. I don't have 2 medium levels this time because I don't have multiple recommendations when it comes to a more mediumized level. But the recommendations that I have for you this episode are indeed a lot extremely helpful. Let's look at how this weapon fires and its recoil pattern so we can understand how it generally functions. As you can see, the weapon itself is indeed pretty spammy. You're able to do follow-up shots extremely fast, so in case you need to shoot at a target, everything should be good. I'm just gonna take the example, this armored guy that we have here. He died pretty fast. Now, let's take a look at how its recoil pattern is managed. Once again, we are going to use the wooden wall we have here. It is a useful thing to use at all times, so in my opinion, I do think it's good that we have it here. The weapon itself is pretty bouncy. It does bounce all around the place, and it's not very recommended to use it without attachments. But if you want to use it without attachments, it does help. Like, it is good at some situations. Definitely close range only. You don't want to use this at long range. Alright, we're back here again at the gunsmith. I'm here to tell you what exactly is a good attachment for you to use when it comes to each gun, each version of the gun, of course. And yeah, we have here our first starter level of the FAL. Of course, you still want to take the tactical suppressor when you start off to play the game. You may want to use the muzzle brake to level it up slowly because it does increase recoil stabilization, but as soon as you get it, tactical suppressor is definitely of use. Sound suppression is a very important attribute when it comes to weapons in Call of Duty Warzone, and being able to stay off the minimap is extremely important. So having this attachment is incredibly needed and incredibly useful. Alongside it, we're taking up the Commando foregrip. It does increase recoil stabilization and aiming stability, which means that your recoil control should be a lot safer and a lot faster to use. It will not affect you too much in aim down sight time, so you're fine with that. Your movement speed might be a bit affected, but not too much, so your gun should be able to be as effective as ever with this foregrip. Of course, we're also taking the 24 round mags. We're increasing from 20 to 24. Having those 4 extra bullets are definitely viable. Having more bullets than none is always good because in case you miss a shot, you're able to regain back that shot with a follow-up one. We are also taking a different scope than the previous ones, the GI Mini Reflex. As I said, this weapon is amazing to use at close range, so taking the GI Mini Reflex is basically like having a little dot as your iron sight. You could of course take the Carp Combat Holo sight. Your magnification will of course be increased a little bit more, but I do prefer the GI Mini Reflex since it's fast, it's precise, and you don't actually have to worry about anything too much with it. And alongside it, we are taking the Granulated Grip Tape. This one does increase aiming stability, which is immediately important. You're able to not have your weapons bounce as much. Alongside it, we get the aim walking steadiness, so you should be able to keep your aim up while walking onto a target. Now let's take a look at how this weapon performs in the Warzone training camp, I guess you could call it. That's where I usually go to see how my own weapons work. And yeah, I shall see you there. Alright, so we're back here again. Here's the new setup for the starter FAL. Here's the inspect animation so you can see how your weapon looks. I always do enjoy looking at how guns look. It does show off the beauty of what guns can do when it comes to Call of Duty Warzone. And yeah, that's why I always inspect them before we begin the shooting practice. Anyways, here's how the gun performs with the attachments that we have. One thing that's noticeable is while aimed down sighting, your bullets will slightly go towards to the right if you continuously spam. That's why it's always good to have like good follow-up shots that remain direct as you shoot. That way your hits on your target will always be accurate and you will not be able to miss a shot ever. That's why this gun is so viable because of its semi-automatic purposes. You're able to do follow-up shots that aren't full automatic, which allows you to instantly hit your shots a lot better than usual. Anyways, let's look at how people would use the weapon at a more mediumized level, and how you'd level it up, let's say, to level 20, 30. That would be my mid-level setup for you guys. Alright, so here we have the mid-level FAL. As you notice, we are now wearing a scope over here, and that's because the iron sights of the FAL by itself are good enough to use. It is a little strange that I'm not applying a scope to the FAL, but just using the iron sights, since I do prefer to use this at close range, is more than enough to help you play the game a lot better than usual. So we're still keeping the tactical suppressor and the commando foregrip, since these two are going to be as viable as possible while you're playing with the weapon. However, we have increased the mag size from 24 to 30, so you have 6 more bullets additionally from the old mag. That will be extremely efficient and extremely good when you're using this weapon. Having more rounds to fire is always good in case you miss a follow-up shot. Alongside that, we actually have a barrel upgrade, the XRK Marksman barrel. This one is, again, incredibly useful. It's capable of really increasing damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. So having that barrel to use is going to be as good as possible when you play your game. Again, if your bullets travel a lot faster, the faster they'll hit, and the faster you'll be able to do that additional follow-up shot. And now, a rather unexpected attachment, the TAC laser. TAC lasers usually are able to help you when you want to be a bit more mobile while aiming down sight, alongside having that a bit more accuracy towards the player. However, your only disadvantage is that your laser is visible towards your enemy that you're shooting at. That might be a problem. However, I don't think that you should be too concerned about it. Lasers aren't that observed by players. I myself do observe them because some players really don't know how to use lasers sometimes. But being able to use a TAC laser to have those additional points of movement, it's gonna make you basically slide on ice while holding your assault rifle. And now with the mid-level variant that we have, let's see how it works on the testing range. Alright, we're back here again. Here's the mid-level FAL that I have made. Once again, it does look pretty good. It does look extremely agile, and it is viable. And now let's see how the weapon works when it comes to firing. Pretty good, eh? Once again, this is actually extremely accurate compared to our previous build. And as you can see, I am moving pretty fast while aimed down sight. That's because of the TAC laser, and I do have some aiming stability as I shoot. Your recoil should definitely be a lot less. As you can see, it's a bit less jumpy than usual, which, again, extremely good. And yeah, that's about it for the mid-level version. Now let's go ahead and show you the final max level build that I have for you. Alright, here we are, the final level of the FAL. As we can see, we've already changed the muzzle. It's no longer the tactical suppressor, now we have the monolithic suppressor. The damage range bonus is going to be extremely helpful when you use this weapon. Just like any other weapon, having the monolithic suppressor and having that additional damage range bonus will always help you to give out more damage at that extended range that it gives you. Just having this attachment is all good on its own. And yeah, I do wish you would use it to be able to have your weapon a lot better than usual. Alongside it, we're still keeping the exact same barrel and the same ammunition. You can't increase that, and there's no better barrel than this, so having those two are basically your best options. We have the Ranger foregrip. Once again, just like the Kilo 141, the Commando foregrip is good, but the Ranger foregrip is better. You do have a little bit of an issue when it comes to aim down sight time. That does decrease, but you do get a massive boost in recoil control and aiming stability. Your weapon will not bounce as much as usual. It's extremely viable to use this. And now here's the most unexpected part. I use the perk, the burst perk. The burst perk is probably the best perk you can have for the FAL. I know it will fire a lot slower than expected. You will not be able to do as many follow-up shots as before. But just because you have the burst perk, those follow-up shots will be all consisted within one click. So being able to switch up to that will be absolutely useful for your gun. I'm going to show you now how this works with the burst perk and how the gun itself performs in the training area. Alright, so here's our final FAL build. We have all of the attachments shown, including the burst perk, and you are going to see how useful this gun is, as I've told you. Yeah, here's how the gun performs when it comes to the final FAL build. Now, you may have noticed that the fire between the bursts is definitely long. Your time between the first burst and the second burst is definitely a problem. However, just because you're running 7.62 bullets and you are firing 3 quick bursts, that'll be more than enough to damage an enemy, enough for them to get behind cover and for you to chase after them to kill them. Literally, just because you have the burst perk, your bullets will all hit the exact same spot. I'm not even kidding, that's what it happens. If you go here, see, they actually shot very near towards each other. The first 2 bursts should be able to, let's say, hit the chest of a person, and the last one should be able to hit the head if you put your shots right. Being able to do that will certainly damage them properly, and just being able to have the burst perk, in my opinion, is probably the best thing in the world. Alright, ladies, gentlemen, I wish to really thank you for watching another video of me explaining how to use your guns properly when it comes to Call of Duty Warzone. I've had some people say this is actually incredibly useful because you're able to see how stats are actually applied to some guns and how you're able to make your gun a lot more viable in a gunfight. Especially the Kilo 141, I've heard people did say that they can't find the correct build, and with my video I was actually able to help them out, so here we are. The FAL is definitely a viable weapon. If you want to use it, it's amazing at close range. Maybe apply to medium range, but don't go any further than that. The FAL can be useful at long range if you are to remove the burst perk, but once again, your shots will bounce if you are to spam fire. Once again, I do wish to thank you all for watching. Please do leave a like and a subscribe. It really does help me out. I plan to make one of these videos where I explain the stats and how weapons work at least once a week, maybe during the weekends, because that's when I have more time to edit. Being able to have more time to edit gives me more chances to make the video look more professional. My aim to the videos is to have them be a bit funny, a bit professional as well. And if I can have a mix of those two, that's gonna be perfect. I don't want it to be too memey, because then it might not attract too much attention. Everyone, please do wear a mask, stay safe when going outside, wash your hands. I should see all of you next time. Goodbye.